All right, everybody. We are back with Portal 2 with Jaio CG, or just Jaio. So, Jaio, take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm back. If you weren't here for the Superliminal run, my name is Jaio, and that's all I'm going to say about the Superliminal run because that's past. We're playing Portal 2 now. I'm just going to jump right into the run because the game does start with 5 minutes of cutscene, so that'll give me a good amount of time to explain things. Timing starts when my crosshair appears. I'll do a countdown for it.
Good morning. You have been in suspension for 15 days. In compliance with state
Time
and
starts
federal
in 3,
regulations, all
2,
testing candidates
1,
in the Aperture
go.
Science Extended Relaxation Center must be revived periodically for a
All right.
mandatory physical
So
and
this
mental wellness
is
exercise.
Portal 2. I am very,
You will hear
very
a buzzer.
certain that
When
it
you
does
hear
not
the
need an
buzzer,
introduction.
Look up at the ceiling.
I'm just going to play through this
You will hear
little
a buzzer.
tutorial
When you hear
section.
the buzzer, look down at the floor. Good. This completes the gymnastic portion
Before
of
I
your
actually start
mandatory
talking about
physical and
mechanics.
mental wellness exercise. There is a framed painting on the wall.
He's going to ask us to look at the
Please
frame
go stand
painting.
in front of it. This is art.
This is art.
You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, stare at the art.
This is very pretty. There's a happy little tree over here. That's
You
nice.
should now feel mentally reinvigorated. If you suspect staring at art has not provided the required
And then we
intellectual
spam on the
sustenance,
bed
reflect
until
briefly
we go
on
to
this
sleep.
classical music.
So this category is called Inbounds No SLA.
Good. Now, please return to
So
your
what that
bed.
means is that we have to stay inbounds naturally. Portal 2 does have a really nice definition on what's
You have
inbounds
been
and what's out of
suspension
bounds.
for 9,
But that's not something that is really too important here, just because it is an inbounds category. And what no SLA means is that I am not allowed to use quick saves and quick loads to my advantage. I probably am going to be using quick saves and quick loads because I am bad, but I can't use them to perform any glitches. So one of the main important things about Portal 2 speedrunning is movement. You'll notice that I'm going to be doing a lot of bunny hopping, which you can sort of see me doing here. However, this area is just kind of small, so you can't really, it's not really much of a good demonstration. Pretty much, when you hold down W, it limits your speed. So if I'm holding W and doing hops, it simply doesn't work. Letting go of W, it basically uncaps you, allowing you to go much faster than the game actually wants you to. You can't like bunny hop out of most cutscenes, but
although if you do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling.
you can. But it is just very good for movement, especially during the second act of the game.
At all, does any of this make any sense? Just tell me, just say yes. Okay, what you're doing there is jumping.
And
You
obviously,
just
Wheelie
jumped.
wants us
But never mind.
to say
Say
yes here by saying apple.
Okay, you know what? That's close enough. Just hold tight.
And now we have like 3 minutes of a whole whopping no gameplay. I could leave if I wanted to.
Okay,
I
look,
could
no
go
one's
grab a
gonna listen
snack
to you.
if I
I'm
wanted
in
to.
pretty hot water here.
I won't though, I'll stay here.
How you
But I
doing
could
down
leave.
there? You still holding on?
Um,
The reserve power
I do
ran
want
out.
to talk
So, of
about
course, the whole
one specific,
relaxation centre stops waking up the bloody test
one
subjects.
specific mechanic that you'll see me do in nearly every level.
This is a bit tricky.
Most levels in the game end with an elevator.
Nobody tells me anything. No, why don't
And
you tell
sometimes
me
you'll see me stand in front of the
Why should
elevator
I be
for a couple
critical?
seconds before
You know
walking
about the
into
life
it.
functions of the 10,000 bloody test
Pretty
subjects
much,
I'm supposed to be
it's
in
kind of
charge
counterintuitive, but standing outside of the elevator before walking into it might sometimes actually saves time. So I'm going to be using a really common metaphor here. But imagine a bus stop, and the bus only leaves at certain times. If you head to the bus stop at a random time, there's a pretty good chance that the bus won't be there for you. However, if you wait until a specific time to go to the bus stop, then you're pretty much guaranteed that the bus will be there. For Portal 2's sake, the game only transitions levels once the ending dialogue is finished, which is fairly acceptable. I just need to get to the elevator by the time that the ending dialogue is finished, I mean. Cool. But the game only checks when the dialogue is finished once every couple seconds or so. So, meaning that depending on when I enter the elevator, the game might transition instantly, or it might take a second or two. So you'll see me waiting outside the elevator to walk in just so I get that instant transition.
So there's one mystery solved. I'm going to attempt a manual override on this wall.
And now we wait for Wheatley to do this mechanical override.
Almost there. Remember, you're looking for a gun that makes holes, not bullet holes. But don't worry, you'll figure it out. Seriously, do hold on this time. Good luck.
Hello.
Cool.
And again,
So we are out of that cutscene and into this cutscene, which takes even more time. So, hooray.
Beyond our control. However, thanks to
Usually during this cutscene, people just like to throw this clipboard into the toilet. When people aren't doing runs for marathons, we have a save that starts the run right here, so we don't need to wait through 5 minutes of cutscenes. But obviously, for marathon's sake, we do like to show the whole cutscene. So you'll probably be able to recognize most of these simple puzzles. I did actually just lose a good couple seconds because I was slow on that test. Whoops! Already not looking too good.
If you feel liquid running down your neck, relax, lie on your back, and apply immediate pressure to your temples. You are simply experiencing.
So this level introduces the concept of pedestal buttons and obviously portals.
Emancipated the ear tubes inside your head.
If you played Portal 1, then you'll recognize most of these tests. Most of them are just remade versions of those tests, since story-wise we are supposed to be in the same testing track
because of the technical
as the one in Portal 1.
Your test environment is unsupervised.
And here you'll see like that first example of me waiting outside the elevator.
Please take a moment to write down the results of your test. An Aperture Science Reintegration Associate will revive you for an interview when society has been rebuilt.
So you'll see that the game transitions map as soon as the announcer is done talking.
By a manner of animal king, sentient cloud, or other governing body that either refuses to or is incapable of.
Hey, you made it.
So this map we're going to be introduced and given the single portal gun, which means that we can now use portals, which is good because traveling instantaneously between 2 points is much faster than hopping between them.
Good. If you feel that a lethal
So that was a dialogue skip. What happens is, if you wait to leave that hallway at the right time, the announcer and Wheatley will like sort of mix with each other. They will talk over each other basically, so the game will just sort of skip all the dialogue, which is quite nice.
Almost certain death. Smooth jazz will be deployed in 3, 2, 1.
Here I'll be doing a trick that, there we go,
You have trapped yourself.
clipping a key through the door.
The exit door is now open.
It is kind of weird, but basically that works because portals visually, like, they have that familiar oval shape, but the actual size of portals are rectangular, so you're able to push objects through doors sometimes.
Or other objects from space. Please avoid unsheltered testing areas wherever a lack of shelter from space debris does not. Well done. The Enrichment Center reminds you that although circumstances may appear bleak, you are not alone. All Aperture Science personality constructs will remain functional in apocalyptic, low-power environments of as few as 1.1 volts.
So this map is going to have a kind of interesting trick to it. It might look kind of weird, kind of broken. It's in the second half of... Cool. It's in the second half of the map. It's going to be what's called a button stick. Basically, we're going to walk over the button, and it's going to basically stick down, which, again, looks kind of weird, but on some buttons in the game, if you walk on and off them exactly 1/60th of a second, hang on 1 second. Okay. If you walk on and off exactly 1/60th of a second, then the button can stick down.
To ensure that sufficient power remains for core testing protocols, All safety devices have been disabled. The Enrichment Center respects your right to have questions or concerns about this boss.
So this trick, if you watched the little showcase that I did a couple days ago, then you'll recognize it. There we go. Actually, I don't know if that'll work. I need to do that. There. Interesting. Let's try doing this, actually. Let's try cheating a little bit.
All safety devices have been
So
disabled.
good.
To ensure that sufficient power remains for core testing protocols, all safety devices have been disabled.
I am messing
The
things
Enrichment
up here
Center
because
respects
I
your
am
right to have
forgetting the
questions
lineup.
or concerns about this boss.
Actually, let me try. Hold on.
Hey! Aye, aye! I'm up
So
there!
I just lowered down the precision on my HUD, which I'm sure it doesn't change anything, but there we go. So what I just did there was called a pancake shot. Basically, the industrial door model, which I will show you later in the level. The industrial door model, this model here, has a gap at the very, very top, right up there. Obviously, it's not visible for people, but it is very much shootable through portals. So you could just shoot. You could just shoot through that door. The skip is called. The shot is called pancake shot because the seam is the gap is thinner than a pancake.
There she is. What a nasty piece of work she was, honestly. Like a proper maniac. Do you know who ended up...
Ah! Oh, still held. Still being held. That's a great job. You've applied the grit. Ah! Sorry,
So this is just kind of a movement map until
I just done it again.
this section here.
main breaker room. Look for a switch that
So,
says escape pod.
Right
Don't
here
touch anything else.
is
Not interested in
a
anything else.
fairly
Don't touch
large
anything
skip.
else. Don't even look at
It's
anything
called
else.
Betzrider.
Well, obviously you've got to look at
And
everything
basically,
else to
it is
find
a
the
way
escape
to
pod.
get
But as soon as you look at something that
God
doesn't say escape
mode.
pod, look at something else. Look at the next thing,
Basically.
alright? But don't touch anything else or look at. Well, look at other
So
things, but don't-
basically,
you understand.
you're able to
Can you see
jump
it
over an
anywhere?
invisible
Can't
wall
see it
right
anywhere.
up there,
Tell you what,
and
plug
set
me
up
in and I'll turn the lights on.
basically a clip. It's not really a clip.
Let there
What
be light.
was that? Okay, I guess I'm not
That's,
getting it.
God,
That was weird.
Quoting God. Oh, look at that. Turning.
So basically, I would want to jump on top of here. Actually, I still have a chance if I get really lucky.
Escape pod, escape pod. It's moving up.
Okay.
Let's
Okay,
see.
don't worry. I've got it. This should slow it down.
No, doesn't look like it.
Uh-oh.
Power up initiated.
Alright, not something we need to worry about.
Stop panicking. I can still stop this.
Not something that we need to worry about then. So basically, what the glitch would do is I would jump over an invisible wall that's right here, and I would go all the way over there. Over there, there is an incinerator. If you've played Portal 1, then you know about the incinerator. An incinerator that basically we can fall into early, which basically gives us invincibility. Unfortunately, I did miss the jump. I didn't even get on top of here, which is like step 1, so we get to sit through the cutscene.
You know, after you murdered
Well-
me.
You did what?
We have to sit through the cutscene anyway. We have to sit through the cutscene anyway, for the most part. The trick does save 5 seconds in this level, but
But I think we
that's not the
put our
real time
differences
loss. The
behind
real
us.
time loss from this
For
is
science.
basically
monsters.
30 seconds. So
I will say
yeah,
though,
30
that
seconds
since
just
you
throughout the
went to all
entire game
trouble of
from
waking me
not
up,
having invincibility.
You must really, really love to
There's
test.
there's the incinerator,
I
by the way.
love it too. There's just one small thing we need to take care of first.
Alright. This is the last map of Chapter 1. This is Incinerator, naturally. And in this map we're going to be getting the dual portal gun, so it gets you both the blue and orange portals. Otherwise, this map is pretty simple. It is just some clean movement and clean
Here we
portaling.
are, the incinerator room. Be careful not to trip over any parts of me that didn't get
Do a little
completely
optimization
wet
here.
when you threw them down here.
We're going to be skipping, basically skipping a cutscene trigger.
Just like old times. Good. You have a dual portal device.
Let me shoot
There
you.
should be a way back to the testing. There
we go.
Once testing starts, I'm required by protocol to keep interaction with you to a minimum. Luckily, we haven't started
That was pretty
This
unfortunate.
will be our only chance to talk. But
Missing
the
some of those
important
portals,
thing is
but
you're
it's
back
fine.
with me. And now
That
I
was still
want
fairly
all
clean.
your little tricks. So there's nothing to stop us from testing for the rest of your
And
life.
another one of those
After that, who
elevator
knows?
elevator fates.
I might take up a hobby. Reanimating the dead, maybe.
So that's chapter 1. Chapter 2 starts off with introducing us to lasers.
I've really let the
This map is
things
called
since
Laser
you came
Intro,
in.
and
Killed me.
messed
By the
up
way,
that up.
thanks.
And naturally, we are not going to be
Not
using
bad.
lasers in the
By
laser
way,
intro.
Thanks for that.
Sarcasm self-test.
Not bad.
We could
I
just
forgot
flank
how
to the
good
end.
you are at this. You
The
should
reason
praise
why I
yourself,
loaded
though.
saves instead of
You
trying
have a
again
lot of
is
tests to
because if I don't get it first try, then there's a cutscene that plays that basically removes that wall portal.
This next test involves
This map is called
discouragement
Laser
through
Stairs,
direction
and
cubes.
just
I
like
just
Laser
finished
Intro, we
building
are
them
not
before
going to be
you had
using the
your,
laser.
Well, episode. Well done. Here come the test results. You are a horrible person. That's what it says. A horrible person. We weren't
The next
even
map is
testing
called
for that.
Dual Lasers, and we're only going to be using one of the lasers. Improvements.
Don't let that horrible person
We're going to be doing a
understand you.
trick called Laser
It's
Switch
just a
Glitch,
data
where
point.
basically if
If it makes
you
you feel
point
any
a laser at a
Science
receiver
has
and then
now
take it
validated
off.
Your birth mother's decision to abandon you on a doorstep.
Come on, there we go.
Congratulations.
If you
Now
point a
on to
laser
test.
at a receiver and then
Most
take it
people
off, there is
imagine
still a
suspension
small
terribly
portion of
as a
time
relish.
where
I want to
that laser
congratulate
receiver is
you on
still
beating the
active.
odds and somehow managing to pack on
So if we
things.
instantly trigger another receiver, then the game goes, oh, both are active. And then opens the door for you.
One moment. You are navigating these test chambers faster than I can build them, so feel free
A little
to
bit of
slow
hopping
down.
past that cutscene.
Whatever
If you
it
watched
is you do
the
when you're not
little
destroying
showcase that I
facility.
did a couple days ago, then you'll be familiar with this trick. That is what's
I'll
called a
give you
super
credit.
portal.
I guess you are
Basically,
listening to me.
you're able to get
But for
stuck
the
inside of a
record,
wall,
you don't have to go
shoot a
that
couple
slow.
portals to gain you speed, and then release yourself, which can fling you to some pretty good lengths. You'll be seeing a lot of those throughout the run.
Quick question. How long have you been playing Portal 2?
This next test
I've been
involves the
playing
Aperture
one day
Science
longer
Area
than you
faith
have.
thing. It was part of my initiative to
Since about
investigate
December
further.
2020.
Here's an interesting fact. You're not breathing real air. It's too expensive to pump this far down. We just
So what I did in this
right
map, I
outside
put
our room,
the camera
freshen
on the
up a
button
little,
because
and pump
to
it back
activate the
in.
ending dialogue,
So
the
you'll
game
be
only
breathing
checks
the
for
same
any
roomful
prop.
of air for the rest of your life. I thought that was interesting.
The game only checks for any prop on the button. So
Let's
of
see
course
what
that
the
means the
next
cube,
test
but that
is.
also means the cameras,
Advanced aerial faith
because the
plates.
cameras are
Well,
very
have
much
fun
props as
soaring
much as
through the
cubes
air
are.
Without a care in the world. I have to go to the wing that was made entirely of glass and pick up 15 acres of broken glass by myself.
This map is going to be fairly intended, other than that little strafe.
Oh, sorry. I'm still cleaning out the test chambers. So
Which,
sometimes there's still
just
trash
sort of
in
brings
them,
me over to that bunnies
standing
here.
around, smelling and being useless. Try to avoid the garbage.
I hit the button down there because hitting the button disables a trigger that basically pushes all that debris off the button.
That was a metaphor. I was actually talking about you.
Predict,
sorry.
not
You
at
didn't
all.
react at the
Oh, I'm
time,
a mod,
so
yeah,
I
sure.
was worried it sailed right
And
over
let's
your
just
head,
like,
which would
yeah,
have made
let's
this apology
yeah,
seem
7
insane.
minutes, dude.
That's why I had to call you garbage a second
So
time
like
just now.
7,000 points on that one. Okay, cool.
Did you know
So in this map, we're going to be seeing another Super E portal. A bit of a different method in terms of setting it up, but it is the exact same thing pretty
Anyway,
much.
Just an interesting science fact.
Get stuck in the floor, shoot portals to gain speed.
Every test
And
chamber
then,
is
and then
equipped
go.
with an emancipation grill at its exit, so that test subjects cannot smuggle test objects out of the test area. This one is broken. Don't take anything with you.
Now we sit and wait. what did I set my estimate to for this? Yeah, just curious.
110.
This next
Oh, yeah,
test
no, I'm beating
involves
that.
emancipation grills. Remember,
And I still
told
have
you about them in the last
Yep.
test area that did not have one.
So that map, we're just able to shoot underneath all that debris because you can shoot portals through them, very simply. And I don't know if I have a bind for that, so I'm going to do it manually. So, I just enabled some dev text on the screen. Trust me, it's allowed, I promise. Oh boy, I'm not doing this again. So, I'm doing a trick called double dialogue skip. And
You seem to have defeated
basically,
its
if
low
I
capacity. Well done.
crouch in
Just
the air
over the
after
sea.
hitting this catapult, I hit a trigger multiple times. I hit the dialogue trigger multiple times, which skips all the lines of dialogue.
What happened, right? I was just lying there. You thought I was
And I hit the floor. Unfortunate. There we
Look
go.
at you, sailing through the air.
Please hit
majestically,
that shot,
like
thank
an
you.
eagle. Pilot
Oh, did I still not hit that? Come on. There we go. Something that I never actually talked about are the custom textures. You'll notice that my gun obviously has a custom texture. The lasers are blue instead of red, and there are a couple other things. You are allowed to change
Enjoy
textures
this
in the
next
game
test.
as long as they
I'm
don't
going to go
have
for
any run
surface.
advantage.
It's a beautiful day
So
out.
I just have some
Yesterday
things
I
changed
saw
that
it too.
I like.
If you solve this next test, maybe I'll let you ride an elevator all the way up to the break room. And
So
I'll
this
tell
map
you about the time I saw you do it
is
again.
really finicky. Actually, I got that perfectly. It's not finicky. It's not finicky. It's consistent. It works every
I
time.
didn't see the deer today. I did see some humans. Well, with
Uh,
you here, I've got more test subjects than I'll ever need.
See, I actually got that pretty well done. Yeah, save time over BB. That's nice. Yeah, basically a fling
These bridges
plus
are made from
the
natural
cube
light that
hitting
come
the
in from
laser when I
surface.
dropped it in air.
If you rubbed your cheek on one, it would
I
be
do
like
not know
standing
whether I hit
outside
that button or
with the
not.
sun
I am
shining on
fairly
your
certain I
face.
didn't. I didn't.
Outside with the sun
Did I?
shining on your face.
I didn't. Let's load an older
Cheek
save.
on one, it would be like standing outside with the sun shining on your face. It would also set
I
your
have to hit
hair
that
on
button
fire,
from below
so
to
don't
start
actually
spawning
do it.
the cubes. And you'll see here there's a second one of those cube through glasses.
You're a predator.
Or another one of
These
those,
tests are your prey. Speaking
tricks
of
where I
which,
shot a
I
cube
was
through a wall.
researching sharks for an upcoming test.
Thankfully,
You know who those
I did
serious
activate the
people
dialogue.
who
The
are
cube did hit the
trying to
button, but
help
it fell
you?
off, so I needed to
Did you guess
re-put it back on
sharks?
manually.
Because that's wrong.
Which
The
is
correct
unfortunate,
answer is nobody.
but it happens.
Nobody but you is that pointlessly cruel.
Meaning we got to sit here and lose a little bit of time.
Good news. I figured out what to do with all the money I saved recycling your
So this map has a fairly large skip. It's called door skip. And basically you can do a b-hop pattern to
I'm going to laminate your skeleton
hop
and post
past
you in the
this
lobby.
door before it
That way future-
closes. I hit it
Laminate your
and I
skeleton
reloaded
and post you in the
because
lobby.
I am just that cool.
To laminate
I'm
your
that cool. I just
skeleton
gotta
and
show it
post you in
multiple
the
times
lobby.
just to show
That
you
way
how
future
good I
generations
am at it.
will learn from you how not to have your unfortunate bone structure.
So that saves
Yours,
approximately
malfunctioning.
30
I guess
seconds.
somebody's
I don't
going
know
to
the
have to
exact
do
number,
that too. Well done.
but it's
In
somewhere
fact,
around the
you did
ballpark
so
of
well.
30 seconds.
I'm going to note this on your file in the commendation section. Oh, there's lots of room here. Did well.
Cool.
Enough. This next test involves turrets. You remember them?
As
right?
GLaDOS
They're
is
the
mentioning,
spherical
we are
things
being
that are
introduced to
full of
turrets
bullets.
here.
Oh, wait.
A lot of
See
these
you in
next
5
levels
seconds.
that involve turrets
luck.
are basically going to be just get to the end while avoiding them, which isn't actually that hard. You just gotta, you know, where is that cube? There it is. If I had the invincibility from earlier in the run, then I would be able to just not care about the turrets, but unfortunately I missed that trick. so I do have to deal with them.
To maintain a constant testing cycle, I simulate daylight at all hours and add adrenal vapor to your oxygen supply.
Something cool about this level is that you could just shoot the portals to solve the map before you even enter the chamber.
I thought you'd want to know.
So all I have to do is just go and place the laser.
You know how I'm going to live forever, but you're going to be dead in 60 years? Well, I've been working on a belated birthday present for you.
It's a fairly simple map
More
otherwise.
of a belated birthday medical procedure. Well, technically, it's a medical experiment. What's important is it's a present. That
So this map is going to involve a
That's not me talking. It's right
damage
here in your
boost.
file.
This is something that you can't do with the invincibility,
But right here, a
but
scientist
there
has
is,
noted that
oddly
on
enough,
you it
just a
looks
faster
stupid.
route anyway, so...
Well, what does a neck-bearded old engineer know about fashion? He probably... Oh, wait. It's a shame. I'm going through the
Being
list of
damage
test
boosted by the
subjects
turrets
in
there
storage.
can obviously just gain
I
you speed,
managed to
which is
find
nice.
two with your last name. A man and a woman. So that's interesting. It's a small world. I have a surprise waiting for you after this next test. Telling you would spoil the surprise.
So this map is
So I'll
called
just
Laser
give you
versus
a hint.
Turret.
It involves
Take a
meeting
take a
people
quick
you haven't
guess as
seen
to
in a long
why.
time.
Yeah, we have to go and kill the laser. We have to go kill all the turrets there with the laser. First person to correctly guess what song that is
It
wins
says this
nothing.
next test was designed by one of Aperture's Nobel Prize winners. It doesn't say.
This is the
prize
final
is
map
for.
in Chapter 3.
Well,
It
I know
is
it wasn't
a
the baby
much,
you
it is
know
much,
about
much
that.
more lackluster compared to the rest of the maps so far. But sometimes
I
as
bet
simple
you
is
think I
better.
forgot about your surprise. I didn't. In fact, we're headed to your surprise right now. After all these years, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it.
Wrong. In chat. Hee hee. It is not for He's a Jolly Good Fushy.
Initiating surprise in 3.
If you watched the showcase a couple days ago, you will also recognize this map. This was another map that I showed off here because we do have a cutscene skip in this map. It saves around 30 seconds, and it is pretty cool. It involves clipping underneath the elevator floor. Why I haven't been doing it in all the maps, if it saves so much time, is because it only works... Well, you can clip under the floor in any of these maps. However, it only saves time in this map. So, obviously, no reason to do it in
Feel
maps.
awful about that surprise. Tell you what, let's give your parents a call.
So this might take me a couple tries, because the trick is kind of not really RNG, but it feels like it's RNG. I'm going to line up my position here, 1459 point something.
Oh, that's sad.
Line up my crosshair,
Impressive.
do a couple
Maybe they
inputs, and miss it first try.
Impressive. Maybe they worked at the phone
And get it
company.
second try. That is good enough for me.
How's it going? I told
Well, you know the old
Oh, I
rule,
miss
right?
Jerry.
Comedy equals tragedy plus time. And
Jerry
you have
loses
been sick
time.
for a
Jerry
while.
deserves to
So
be
I
skipped.
guess it's actually pretty funny when you do the math.
This map is another fairly standard laser puzzle. The only thing cool that I have to say about this map is that there is a really, really cool task route for it. Very, very recently, we figured out how to kill most of the RNG in this game. So there is a really, really cool route that just involves standing on the floor and just throwing all the cubes up to the lasers.
Federal regulations require me to warn you that this next test chamber is looking pretty
Please? There we go.
good. That's right. The facility
Here we're
is
going to be doing another one of those
operational
laser
again.
switch glitches.
I think these test
There we go.
chambers look even better
Instead
than
with
they did
3
before.
lasers instead of 2 like the previous map.
You just have to look at things objectively, see what you don't need anymore, and trim out the fat. I've got a a surprise for you after this.
So here's where we
Not a
start the
fake
BTS,
tragic
the behind the
surprise
scenes
like
section of the
last
game.
time.
I don't want to say
A
the
real
three letters just in
surprise
case.
With tragic
Whoops.
with tragic consequences. And what's going on?
There you go.
Who turned off the lights?
So this is where the BTS section starts, and most of it is actually no, all of it is just pure movement. So there'll be a lot of bunny hopping, a lot of wall strafing, which is pretty much bunny hopping on walls. For the next good couple of minutes, it is very fun to watch. It is very fun to watch if you watch like actually good players, actually good movement players.
Almost at the last tech.
It is very, very satisfying. Watching some of these maps on the IL leaderboards, the individual level leaderboards, are very, very fun. If you're curious, if you go to the website board.portal2.sr, you'll find all of the individual level leaderboards for these maps. Specifically, Jailbreak through Turret Factory are really, really fun maps to watch. So you'll see me turn this on. If you can't tell what happened, go see your doctor. I turned on full bright. And turning on full bright is allowed in the speedrun just because some people have different monitor settings to where this map here is just not really visible because it's so dark. So full bright is allowed just for accessibility purposes. My monitor, I'm able to see it fine. However, going through video encoding makes it almost pitch black. So I do like to keep it on for marathons. Just when I stream in general. For those who are curious, this is what it looks like. I am able to see just fine, but I am fairly certain that you were not able to. Ooh, not a good cycle on those panels.
Here's an interesting story. You might like this. I almost got a job down here in manufacturing, but guess who the foreman went with? Only an exact duplicate of himself. Nepotism.
Some good dialogue from Wheatley as well.
Oh, I'll tell you, humans. Oh,
Oh,
love 'em.
nice hitting the wall.
They look great, and they're.
This is a map that really takes a lot of movement practice to get good at. If you watch the individual level, like world records, these maps are insane.
Turret redemption lines are not rides. Please exit the turret redemption line.
In this map, we'll be seeing another one of those pancake shots, like I showed and lost time at the beginning of the game. However, I remember the lineup for this one, and it's also much easier, so hopefully I won't be losing time. For the first half of this map is pretty much just pure bunny hopping, though, much like the previous maps.
Follow me. You're gonna love this. Almost there. Ta-da! Only the turret control center.
So we are going to line ourselves up here, look at a specific coordinate on the wall, shoot. That lines me up perfectly to shoot through that gap.
I mean, was there any sort of announcement before it opened, like a buzzer or an alarm of some kind, or like a hacker alert? I mean, you know, fair enough. The important thing is it's open, but just mention it in the future. Bring your daughter to work day. That did not end well.
And then the rest of this map is just more movement. So it really is just a bunch of movement, and then that one trick, and then just more movement.
I'm pretty sure we're going the right way. Don't worry, I'm absolutely guaranteeing you 100%.
And I had a decent boost from those stairs.
Use a turret, so let's go and take care of that neurotoxin generator as well.
Fulbright is turning back on for this next map. So this map is a fairly is a fairly weird one. This is the only map in the game that is entirely cycle-based. Basically, those panels, you're kind of able to see them. They are set on a cycle from the start of the map. So, obviously, depending on how fast you get up to this door, depends your ending time. You are able to shoot through that door because you can, and get a decent cycle. I believe if I was playing the individual level mode or challenge mode, that would have been a 102 time of a 102. Let's see, it would be a little bit slower in full game. So, oh, before I do this, hold on. Wow, I am okay. Good, it's at 0. Whew. I forgot. So there's a command that allows us to skip this map in its entirety. It adds in the time on our timers, obviously, because that would be cheating if it wasn't. But it does allow us to skip the cutscenes RTA, which is nice. But once again, I don't like to do that for marathons because, one, you can't add in the times on the marathon timers. Well, you can, but it's ugly. And 2, obviously, you're just skipping through parts of the game that you probably don't want to skip for a marathon.
No neurotoxin, no turret, she'll never know what hit her. Hold on, because I might not have thought this next part could be.
Ah! Well, I'm going the wrong way. Get to her. I'll find you.
So this map is pretty much a full story-based map. It is kind of boring. There's a little bit of gameplay though, but not really much. It is mostly just cutscene. But this map does contain one pretty cool thing, which is the single biggest skip in the game in terms of pure time save. It saves about 2 minutes 30. Compared to doing intended.
Let's get to business. I hope you brought something stronger than a portal gun this time. Otherwise, I'm afraid you're about to become the
but it's at the very end of the map, so you gotta sit through this stuff first. Really annoying, but
goodbye.
I have all these turrets.
You were busy back there. Well, I suppose we could just sit in this
Right here is something kind of fun I can do. We like to play a little game in this map. You'll notice Wheatley up at the top of this tube here. So the thing we like to do is, alright, that was pretty bad. Try to catch him on our head and see how long we can sort of keep him on our head.
I don't feel corrupt.
I did pretty bad with like a grand time of 0 seconds there, but maybe next round.
Core transfer. Please deposit substitute core in receptacle. Substitute core accepted. Substitute core. Are you ready to
Now
start
we
the
have a
procedure?
little bit more waiting.
Corrupted core. Are you ready to start the procedure?
No.
Oh, yes, she is.
No.
Stalemate detected. Transfer procedure cannot continue.
Yes.
Unless a stalemate associate is present to press the stalemate resolution button.
Pull me out. Leave me in. Leave me in.
Not so fast.
Stalemate
We were gonna do a
resolved.
little bit of a fling there to sort of fling over those panels.
Wait, what if this hurts?
And now we wait for a little bit before getting to that really big skip, which is, for as much time as it saves, it is a very, very boring.
No, you're not. You're right. It is going to hurt, isn't it? Exactly how painful are we to...
You have to look at GLaDOS here because this is a whole look sequence. Basically, if you turn away, this sequence will just stop, so you're gonna have to look at it. Alright. We have so much time to set up for this trick that, like, some people even have, like, pure lineups for it. It is ridiculous.
Too bad, eh? Giant robot. Massive. It's not just me, right? I am...
So an elevator is going to pop up in front of us, and very simply what we do is
There we go. Lift cool.
That's it. That is 2.5 minutes. Saved by jumping on top of the elevator instead of walking inside.
I don't even know what I just said.
Pretty much how this saves time is these invisible walls around me will disappear after Whitney says huge. And then you can just fall into the skip. And that is time save. Hang on one second, I'll be right back.
Oh, hi. So, how are you holding up? Because I'm a potato.
Alright. This is another one of those cutscene maps that skip cutscenes command skips. However, again, since I have it turned off, there you are, potatoes. Yeah, we sort of skipped that whole sequence. If you've never played Portal 2, I will just kind of let you figure out the context.
He's the product of the greatest minds of a generation, working together with the express purpose of building the dumbest moron who ever lived. And you just put him in charge of the entire facility.
So to give a bit of a start, a bit of an introduction to this next chapter, a lot of people, including myself, claim these next two chapters, chapters 6 and 7, to be the most difficult in the speedrun. There are so many maps with so many tricks back to back to back to where it is fairly easy to just lose a bunch of time. Hopefully I don't lose too much time though, because I'm already not playing too well. So this first map here is another one of those pretty much pure movement maps. It is another map that is very, very fun to watch at a top level. We are going to set up for... Why did I jump? I shouldn't have jumped. There we go. Set up for that shot. I like to have full bright on for that shot, just makes it a whole lot easier to see. And now we gotta wait for this vault door to open, which takes like 10 to 20 seconds, about. I could jump in here a little bit early, which is nice. Just start pressing W up against the black here to get into this corridor. So this map is called Cave Johnson. Naturally, in this map we are introduced to Cave Johnson. But if I play it right, then I hopefully should not be hearing the man at all. We should be skipping every single line of dialogue that he has. There we go, that looks fine. Starts off with this shot, which, there you go, took me a couple tries. And it skips pretty much this nice long elevator sequence. And then I'm going to be doing a mix of a reportal plus just some movement to I'm shooting a little bit too early. Nope. To skip the next room. There we go. So that is Cave Johnson completed without hearing Cave Johnson. We are going to be hearing him here though.
This first test involves something the lab boys call repulsion gel. You're not part of the control group, by the way.
In this map, we're going to be doing what's called a seam shot. A seam shot is basically like a pancake, but the code works a little bit differently. Basically, it's an issue with the portal detection code that allows you to shoot through some corners. It is quite fun. Let's do a little portal light up here to get up to this area. Ooh, that is unfortunate. I was hoping that I would be able to grab that. But I have to go up here manually. That bounce over there is one of like those few little parts of RNG in the run. This run is fairly consistent aside from little things like that.
We haven't entirely nailed down what element it is yet, but I'll tell you this, it's a lively one, and it does not like the human skeleton. All these science spheres are made of asbestos, by the way. Keeps out the rats. Let us know if you feel a shortness of breath, a persistent dry cough, or your heart...
This map, we are going to be doing a bit of a regular thing. What am I doing? There we go. I placed the wrong portal somewhere in it, and it confused me. This map, I'm going to be doing something very specific, though. I looked up a little bit when passing through that last portal, because I am doing something called, I'm removing something called angle decay. Angle decay is something that only happens on Windows, and it's basically, when you're looking at an extreme angle, like up here for example, the game will slowly move your mouse down, which is not good for the next map where I'm going to be doing another seam shot. Specifically, a cheated seam shot. You may have noticed that some weird stuff just happened with my mouse. Or, I guess with my view angle. And that was what was called a view snap. Basically, you could set your sensitivity to a really, really, really high number. Load quick 01. There we go. I should have a bind for that, probably. You could set your sensitivity to a really, really, really high number, and it basically just makes your view snap. Like the name. Except I'm not doing this last trick quite correct. There we go. Yeah, there were a couple more of those in the run that I could have done, but simply chose not to because I do not respect any of the other ones. This is the only good view snap, and even that's debatable. So this map is called Potatoes. Normally in the casual playthrough, this is where you would get the potato gun. However, we are simply going to be skipping that cutscene because the game lets us. It is actually really, really easy to skip the cutscene, and I will show you. So, the potato gun is in that control room over there, but it is very, very easy to just skip this whole cutscene just by doing a specific fling that looks like this.
You might know us as a vital participant in the 1968
Oh! Not like that. There we go. I had a weird speed. So that's it. That's how you skip the cutscene. It is so easy that people do it in their casual playthroughs sometimes. It is quite funny. In this chapter, we are being introduced to propulsion gel. However, we are not actually going to be using propulsion gel at all in the entire run. So I feel as if I need to explain it. I'm going to be doing what's called a Pika portal, which is basically where I'm able to shoot a portal while falling through another portal. It's kind of weird, and that's the only one that we do in the run, at least in my memory. Future me will correct me if I'm wrong. It all comes down to future me. This trick has something, or this map has a trick that is really, really cool. Basically, I'm going to let the ramp below this portal get covered in blue gel, and then if I scroll on it, or if I spam jump on it. I got a ton of speed there. I'm not actually sure why that works on a technical level, but it does, and it's cool. So yeah. This next map is probably the most notorious in the entire run. It's called Conversion Intro. This is the map that, one, you get introduced to Conversion Gel, which allows any surface to become a portal surface, and two, has the Lemon Rant in it, which I am going to be skipping. Again, if you watched the showcase that I did a couple days ago, you will recognize this trick that I'm doing. I don't really have the time to just show off what I'm doing exactly, but I'm going to be kind of safe with my lineups here, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 13, go. Cool. So that is a really, really fancy Super portal, and that allows us to skip the Cave Johnson Lemon Rant. I will not be resetting it for you because I do not remember it. I remember like the first couple lines, but that is it. Then we could just do this last elevator room as intended to get to the end of the map.
I know things look bleak, but that crazy man down there was right. Let's not take these lemons.
So this map is called 3 Gels. Normally this is the first map where you see all 3 gels interact. We are only going to be using Blue Gel. Okay. I do not like that. Here I'm going to be doing what's called a stuck launch. I did not have enough speed. Basically, you get stuck, and then you launch. The reason why I don't like this specific one is that the gel is just simply not in the best place. I might reload and reset this up actually, because this is really annoying. Okay, yeah, let's restart and reset that up because that is really unfortunate gel placement. That gel placement basically came down to where... I guess we're doing it this way. See, is that any better? That is so much better, you do not even know. So I could get to about 1900 speed and get enough speed. Ooh. Alright. Let's do another quick 01 load. There we go. Launching in this game with speed is kind of a hassle sometimes. Ooh. Alright, that is... I'm not going to be able to get a clean launch from that. So I'm just going to jump over to this button just regularly. So here we're going to be doing yet another Super portal. They are extremely important in the run here. So let's get you lined up. Basically, I'm doing all of this setup just to get myself stuck in the ground. And doing that means I can skip the elevator that is currently right there. Hasn't even fallen down yet. It saves a lot of time. So that is chapter 6 and 7. Here we are starting chapter 8, and you might recognize pretty much this entire chapter if you've seen the video how Portal 2 skips, or how Portal 2 speedrunners skip Wheatley's traps by Sushi. You might recognize what I'm about to do. Not this map, but next map introduces Crouch Fly Glitch. It's basically a way to get no clip, pretty much. it uses the funnels that are in the game to sort of trick the game that you're in a funnel when in reality you're not in a funnel. So you have the physics of being in a funnel, i.e. fly. I had a weird save there, so let's... There we go. Doing that throw not only looks cool, but also skips about a 50-second cutscene.
You know, it must be hardwired into the system or something. Oh, but I'll tell you, when I do test, oh man alive, nothing feels better. It's just, that's what I've got to test. That's what I've got to test. So, you're going to test, and I'm going to watch. Everything is going to be just...
Warning. Core overheating.
Design this test.
That's just a little something fun you can do.
Oh, that felt really good. Oh, here's an idea. Since making tests is
And
so
now
difficult,
we just have to go
why
through
don't you
Wheelie's
just keep
test here
solving this
before he
test?
starts putting in like
And I can just, like, watch you solve
I'm
it.
not gonna say good tests.
That's
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna say good tests before he starts putting in good tests.
nothing. Alright, can't blame you for trying. Okay,
Do we have time for a quick donation?
Yes, we do.
Gotta be some tests around here somewhere.
We have a $25 donation from Condescending Luigi, who says, "I'm just here to see how much better Jaio is than Fushy is
A lot.
at Portal 2."
A lot.
Yep, I would have to agree with that statement. Thank you, Luigi.
Thank you, Luigi. Alright, so here is that fly trick. Basically, it's called crouch fly glitch. Ooh, my timing was a little off.
Not entirely. Look at the word test there on the wall.
Because, well, you crouch, you uncrouch, and then you get fly. That did not work how I... Ooh, alright. I guess we will be sitting through some dialogue.
Seriously, both of you. Why don't you two go on ahead, yeah? I'll catch
Normally there's a way to skip that dialogue, but I did not set it up properly. Because, I had my portals switched around, so I had my blue portal placed where my orange portal would be in like my muscle memory, so that messed me up.
Yeah, made this test myself.
So what's really cool about the crouch fly glitch is that it preserves between maps, meaning I could just completely break this map.
Well done. What? Well, no, you pressed the...
The one con of this is that obviously you can't bunny hop, since if I jump, I don't go back down. So we have to pretty much do what's called AD spamming, which is what happens when you hold W and then just spam A and D.
You are not going to believe this. I found a sealed off wig. Hundreds of perfectly good test chambers just sitting there, filled with skeletons. Shook them out, good as new.
None of what I did there lost time because, well, I just still need to wait for, I still need to wait for this wall to move over.
Yeah. Be honest, you can't even tell, can you? Seamless.
So I'm going to shoot a couple portals there and toss that cube up. Right. So in this map we're going to be getting rid of fly. And getting rid of fly in a map is as easy as just hitting another funnel. So doing that, and now I am able to B-hop again. That's the entire map, by the way. Just go to the end. This map is rather interesting. We're going to be doing what is called a great shot. Basically, because of how portal placement code works, and because I am bad, I get to show you again. Wow. Where is it? Oh, I had to wait for the other one to fizzle. I see. There you go. Basically, because of, again, more weird portal detection code, you could shoot on those grates. hydrated.
If he's not getting his solution, Euphoria, we could be in a lot of trouble.
Don't mind me, just moving the old test chamber a little bit closer to me. I'd have thought maybe...
Wow, I did not land on the button when I wanted to. That is crazy.
I'd have thought maybe
There we go.
proximity to the test
Or I did not land on the catapult, I mean.
stronger results. What was that? Oh, sorry, I could have sworn you said something. Are you absolutely sure you're solving these correctly? I mean, yes, you solved it, but I'm wondering if maybe there's a number of ways to solve them. And
That map was just a more clean movement.
No, that wasn't.
Well, as clean as you can get. So on this map we are going to be re-getting the crouch flag glitch, and we are going to be keeping it until pretty much the end of the chapter.
Oh, on a related note, I am going to need you to solve these 10 times as fast.
Go.
Anyway, just give me a wave, would you, before you solve this one, alright? I don't want to spoil the ending for when I watch it later.
Get the crouch flag glitch, bounce on that pipe to trajectory downwards, and then just land on the ending platform.
I think he's decided not to maintain any of the crucial functions required to keep this facility from exploding. Oh, my facility. This place is self-destructing, you idiot.
Was self-destructing.
Come on.
Or
There we go.
Programmed in one last tremor for all time's sake. One or two more tremors in there, just for fun.
Wow, I did.
I let him keep his job.
There we go.
I'm not a monster. Ignore what he's saying, but just keep on testing.
Oh, something fun that you can do in this map is you can angle that laser. There we go. To just sort of hit the ending. It's pretty fun. And you shouldn't hit the funnel here, because if you hit the funnel, then you lose fly. So I'm just going to fly alongside of it until right around here when I want to get rid of it. We go back here to activate these panels so that we can reach the end.
Oh, you're alive! Great! Yeah, just getting a test ready for you.
It's not even close to being
So,
where I wanted it to be.
see here. Exit, exit, exit. There is no exit. Not a problem. I'll make an exit.
And once again, just using crouch fly.
Ding. Good. Perfect. What do you go?
You have to look at Peabody right there. And actually, I've just lost a good amount of time just from that, which is unfortunate, just from being slow. For some reason, getting that crouch flag glitch is really finicky for me. So we have to wait again 20 seconds or so for me to reach the top of the elevator shaft so that the fail-safe trigger can be hit. Just like that. So this is the last map of Chapter 8, and we are going to be, of course, regaining fly. And we are going to be keeping it until pretty much the very, very end of the game. So this is a very, very important crouch fly for me to hit. Looks like I got it though, which is nice. Let's hope I don't hit anything weird. Good. Alright, so that is the last map of Chapter 8. We are now in the final 4 maps. Finales 1, 2, 3, and 4 here.
I'll bet you're both dying to know what your big surprise is. Well, only 2 more changes.
And obviously I fly, so I can't jump. Well, I can't jump whenever I don't want to. I do want to right here. I can hit my head on a little bump in the geometry, and I can just start flying. Let's see, let's try to get my angles good. The more speed you have when doing wall strafes like these, the more inwards you want to be looking.
Okay, look, I've decided I'm not gonna kill you.
So we just skipped that whole sequence there, where Wheatley talks about the part where he kills us. It is a fairly slow sequence, pretty much because of a funnel that goes pretty slowly. If it wasn't because of that funnel, then these finale maps would be faster without fly.
Don't mind me. Continue escaping.
So let's go head over to this door. Fly over to this staircase ledge so I can pretty much line myself up here in terms of height. And knock myself down using that stairwell. Come on. Here I'm going to be doing something called lampstand, where pretty much I bonk my head on this lamp and then use this piece of geometry to head back down. And of course, portals is faster than just walking. These last few maps here are pretty much just all fly maneuvering. Normally there would be escape puzzles here that would basically get your knowledge, test your knowledge on all of the pretty much on everything that's you've seen in the game so far, as well as introduce some new mechanics that'll be important in the boss fight, which is the next map. But obviously I've played the game before, so I kind of know this already. I know these mechanics, thankfully. So we've lost Fly, and we are now in the final map of the game here. Finale 4, the Wheatley boss fight. Hopefully this should go well. The only way to mess this up is if I really mess something up, so fingers crossed. So now there isn't much to do here for a little bit while Wheatley talks, so I'm just gonna sit here and drink some water.
I'm pretty sure it's a problem with the light. I think the light's on the blink, but just in case it isn't, I am actually going to have to kill you, as discussed earlier. So let's call that 3 minutes and then a minute break, but we should leave allegedly 2 minutes to figure out how to shut down whatever's starting all the fires. So anyway, that's the itinerary.
Hydrate.
Also, I took the liberty of watching the tapes of you killing her, and I'm not going to make the same mistakes.
Little random knowledge here. You can stand pretty much anywhere near this conversion gel pipe, and these bombs will hit it, but if you stand in front of it, it saves 0.01 seconds. So you should stand in front of it.
And turn off the neurotoxin. I'm joking, of course. Goodbye.
Free time save.
In 5 minutes.
I'm going to be setting up for what is called bomb preserve here. Basically, I could preserve bombs between Wheatley's phases. So I'm going to be preserving a bomb for his next for phase 2 here.
I wanted you to...
So as you can see, I have a couple bombs just in those portals here that I will use in his next phase. Gotta make sure I shoot the right one. Orange, yep.
Vent system compromised. Neurotoxin offline.
I gotta make sure I put this in the right spot. Okay. Oh, I shot the wrong one. I had to shoot blue. Oh no. There we go. I even looked at it and said orange, like like I knew that one was wrong as well. Oh god. Alright.
Warning. Core corruption at 75%.
So that's phase 2.
Explosion timer.
Wait now for phase 3. This is fairly similar to phase 1. I placed this portal in the same spot at the east.
2 minutes.
Enough! I told you not to put these cores on, but you don't listen, do you? Quiet.
Wait for that to be broken, and then I can start shooting some portals here to get this lineup set to grab this core. Put him on Waitley, and now we wait.
100%. Manual core replacement.
Ah,
Oh,
damn it.
I see.
So time is coming up soon when I, spoiler alert, hit the moon.
Corrupted core. Are you ready to start?
What are you?
I'm going to
Answer as yes.
do an attempted trick called early moonshot, where I attempt to shoot the moon approximately 16 seconds earlier than I should be able to.
Resolution annex. Extinguishing.
So I might retry it a couple times here.
Oh, that just cleans right off.
Shooting at that piece of debris allows your portal to stick for some
Resolution associate.
cool reason.
Press the stalemate resolution.
I will yell out time if I hit it.
Do not press that for car 5.
I did not hit it. I'm not going to retry it because I don't care. Actually, oh, am I going to go over estimate? Oh no, I might go over estimate RTA. That's unfortunate. I should have tried it again.
And I have no idea how
I
to
should have
fix
tried
this
it.
place. Oh,
Time.
And we are over estimate, but
No,
GG
I'm not
on the
overestimate.
run.
It says I'm on screen 108.30. I'm not overestimate.
Oh, we're going by our time.
space! Ah!
Unfortunate.
I gotta get my channel points
Yeah,
back.
get your channel points back. I'll lose my 7,000.
Ah! Let go! Let go! I'm still connected! I can pull myself in!
Alright, we are a little bit of ahead of schedule. Quite a bit, actually. So, Jaio has offered to showcase some Portal 2 community chambers before we head into our next run with Dynasty. So, stay tuned for that. We're going to go right into it. We're not even going to go to an intermission, if that's alright with you.
Yep. You're good to go.
Alright. So you're good to go? And the DMCA song, of course,
Yep,
at
I
the
gotta
end.
quit out of it before DMCA starts kicking. Alright. I'm going to quickly do a game reboot here. Gotta wait for Steam to, there we go. Allow me to launch the game again. And then I'm going to show off a couple maps, mostly B-Hop maps. So I have a couple maps here downloaded that I'm going to show off. Pretty much most of the ones that say B-Hop. So let's start off up here. This one you might be familiar with. It's called Gelosity. It basically uses the orange gel as like a Mario Kart racetrack. So let's head over to the starting area. So there are a couple medals here. The goal is to get underneath a 102. I messed up. Something that you could do with gel, with orange gel, is called gel strafing, and it's basically a way to get a bunch of height on gel. Oh no! There we go. Good start so far. Oh, alright. I opted not to jump there, I guess. See, this is cool. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a skip here. And another little skip here. These skips aren't really worth much, but they are there for those who want to go for good leaderboard times. 107, pretty good. To end the map, you gotta get under a 115, which I certainly did. So let's head under the map there. So that is Gelosity number 1. We're going to skip right to Gelosity number 2. This leaderboard is ridiculously outdated, as you can tell. By over 10 years, this leaderboard has been not outdated, has last been updated 10 years ago. I'm going to very quickly toggle off the cinematic because it is kind of annoying. And start on Gelosity 2. Much like Gelosity 1, it's pretty much the exact same concept. However, there are some key differences like map layout. Go 26 out of 2 first. First checkpoint. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a skip here. I can shoot that portal a little bit early. And same thing here. I'm going to try to hit that portal a little early as well. This is a much better run than my Gelosity 1 run, I could say that. Cool. 117, or sorry, 113, and I got the gold trophy as well. Got past the 140, so I'm able to exit the level. Alright. So next one, of course, after Time Trial 2 is Time Trial 3. This one does have a little bit of a longer intro sequence, so you're just going to have to chill here for a little bit. Oh, nice. So, unlike Gelosity 1 and 2, Time Trial 3 is obviously themed after Old Aperture. The timer hasn't even started yet. The timer starts after crossing this line here, so. Time Trial 3 is also kind of the one that I am the least consistent at because I just simply do not really remember the routes. Or at least remember what the correct route, what the correct routes are. That wasn't exactly the best route to take, but it is one of the cooler routes. I'm able to shoot towards this panel, saving a little bit of time. Say hi to GLaDOS hanging out in Old Aperture here. So a 130.8, which is pretty good. We need a 2-minute flat to exit, which obviously I did, and there's a little cutscene here. Before the level actually ends. Cool. Guess I never rated that one a thumbs up. Let's go to some more specific B-Hop maps now. Let's throw it off with Dark B-Hop. Dark B-Hop is kind of the main B-Hop map, I'd say. It says for use with Bunny Mod, but don't really worry about that. And yeah, this is it. It might look pretty boring to you, but this is actually something that helps a lot of people out when they're just starting hopping. Having a nice, just straight line map to just practice hopping on. That was a 27 flat. not bad. There are a couple other courses here, so let's play those as well here. This one is also pretty cool. There's a lot of speed control stuff. Something that I don't actually think I mentioned in the main run is that Portal 2 has a lot of speed control, because once you go over 300 units per second, which you can see on the top left-hand corner of the screen, you pretty much lose all sense of control. Control of your direction, I mean. So, thankfully there are brushes that stop you from falling off. That also means, unfortunately, you can't have, like, cool Mario Kart shortcuts. Ah, messed up that one. Loaded a save, there you go. There we go. This map is overall just, it's a very good basic beginner Beha map. So that's course 2, 112, which isn't great. And finally, there is course 3, which has a lot of mechanics about surfing, which surfing barely works in Portal 2. I honestly don't know if I want to show this one off, just because of how finicky surfing is. If I wanted to do a surfing showcase, I would just play Counter-Strike or something, which just works much better. All right. The next map I'm going to show off is, actually, I'm going to do a couple maps of my own here. I've made a couple Beha maps myself. Well, this one's mostly stolen, but let's not pay attention to that. I made a couple maps of B-Hop Adventure Line, B-Hop Flames, and B-Hop Prototype. So let's start with Adventure Line. This one is the most popular one. I wouldn't be surprised if you've actually played it yourself, if you go through Community Workshop maps. Oh god, my live split's still open, so it's currently, like, setting all my splits, so no. Let's make sure to close out live split. Something that I like to do with my maps is integrate speedrun timer support. Just flat out the gate, so you can see at the bottom, you can see what are basically splits. Most of the time the community would need to make their own splits for a map. However, for my maps, I just integrate them, which is nice. It's nice up until you accidentally have live split open and now are overriding all of your golds. Whoops. Yeah, so if you can't tell, this is the Adventure Line ending from Stanley Parable. Okay, let's close out. Yeah, do not save those splits. This is the Adventureland ending from the Stanley Parable, turned into a Portal 2 B-Hop map. You can actually fall down here, and there are a couple bonus courses, so let's do those. This first one is the Half-Life 2 original version of the Stanley Parable. This one is really cool, pretty short, 13.6 seconds. And let's get back. Whoops, that was the restart button. I made this map and I don't even know what the buttons do. I guess I should have hit the button with the exit door on it. So these little bonus maps, naturally are called bonuses. If you're familiar with bunny hop maps or surf maps in games like Counter-Strike, then you'll be familiar with the concept of bonuses. There's a second bonus for hitting this button, and you might recognize this as the Zending ending from the base Stanley Parable game. I made this one basically just as a joke because one of my friends said that they weren't good at like this sort of staircase railing, so I just added this in for him. 10-4. And then if you go all the way over there, that button just brings you back up here. So that's B-Hop Adventure Line. Let's go to B-Hop Flames next. This one is called Beyond Flames for a couple reasons. Number one, I was mainly experimenting with colored lighting, so you can see the red here. But also, you might recognize some of these patterns with the floor. Messed up there. Where are you? But also, if you're familiar with Guitar Hero, then you will recognize the layout of a lot of these platforms matches the chart for Through the Fire and Flames on Guitar Hero 3. It was a dumb little map I made just to test out lighting stuff, and I am very happy with how the map looks. Although, unfortunately, there is the case of the map being capped. I forgot exactly what the world record is, but it is capped, which does kind of suck. It's also not very, this first set of platforms isn't really that well made. I'm willing to admit that. Granted, this whole map was really built as a lighting test, which I do think the map looks quite cool. There you go, that was a pretty bad time. What was that, just for completeness sake, a 21.8? Then after Flames, I followed up with B-Hop Prototype, which has like this cool little lobby area, which a lot of that lighting work being used here. It is a very, very beautiful map, just in terms of lighting. And each part of the map is focused on a different color of the rainbow. So that was the red stage. Here's the orange stage. Here's yellow, which is very finicky. The yellow stage is quite difficult to navigate. Ah, damn it. Alright, there you go. That looked good. Basically, you're able to hop on it in a straight line as long as you know the right hop pattern. There is one, but again, very, very finicky. I think this was the actual last stage that I built just because I wanted to get the map out. And I wasn't too happy with it. Here's green. Blue is a pretty cool one. You have to drop down like this. And finally, purple is a downhill. That I messed up. So it was 134. Alright. So those are the maps that I've made. I do have, I technically have one other one. B-Hop Stairs, but it is 5 minutes long. And it's just you going upstairs. I'm not playing it. This map is called Monster B-Hop. This is a pretty cool one because it's not a map that was built for Portal 2. It was actually built as a Counter-Strike B-Hop map, but someone ported it to Portal 2, and it is a very, very, very fun one. It's quite short, but pretty much takes all like the good mechanics of a beginner B-Hop map. Has this downhill section with platforms that you need to aim for, and this uphill section that I am not doing too well on. Oh man. I really am not doing well on. There we go. This feels good. Yep, there we go. Cool. And then finally there is one other checkpoint here before getting to the end. 1065. So this map is supposed to be a basic tutorial for tasks. Portal 2 tasking is a pretty big part of the speedrun community. So it does some simple things like teaches you movement and portaling. It's fairly simple, but I added a speedrun timer to it, so why not? This one's called Elevator. I'm just going to play it.
How long is the staircase map?
5 minutes. It is.
That's
it is
quite an interesting one.
Here, I could check. Here, let's see. Let's see what world record is here. World record is 4 minutes and 17 seconds. So it's pretty long. This map is called B-Hop Camera. I don't actually know why it's called B-Hop Camera, but it is a very, very fun map. This isn't exactly the best run of it, though. That's fine. It's a showcase. Doesn't need to be perfect. Oh, man. Alright, let's try. Going for another attempt. There we go. Normally I would want to keep speed there. So this is kind of the halfway point of the map. This is a cool map. It takes you back into the starting area as a checkpoint. Oh man. Alright. That didn't work. Let's try going back here and let's try doing this again. This is sort of a I'm not gonna say it's a fairly difficult jump. I mean, granted, I am failing it, but I am only failing it because of what we call in the business skill issue. There we go. And then pressing this button ends the level. You can see the final time. Oh, that's right. It's not. It doesn't hit the level. You need to go back here to end the level. There you go. 102.2. All right. And the last map that I want to show off here is B-Hop Poolside. This is my personal favorite B-Hop map just because of how pretty it is. When making B-Hop Flames, I sort of used this map as a base for how I wanted the visuals to look. And actually, this map I could show off. There are a couple cheat commands. I could turn on air control and auto jump. Basically, if I hold down spacebar, I will automatically jump. And if I start strafing, you will see that it basically removes any airlock control that the game has. So you will see that I am gaining lots and lots of speed here. This bit isn't exactly great for speed control. This map is very similar, just similarly styled to a classic like Counter-Strike Source Beyond map. There are also like some little bugs here with just visually how the map looks, which is unfortunate just because of how good it does look. Hang on 1 second. Hang on, like 5 minutes. All right. And then, this bit's weird with air control. The rest of this map is pretty cool with it. Oh man. There we go. And there is one final jump here that I am naturally just going to keep missing. There we go, 145.3. So that was kind of the last map that I wanted to cover. Those are only a few of the Portal 2 B-Hub maps. There are like 200 or more total. So there are a lot. Those are only like the few best ones, as well as my own. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, well, thank you very, very much, and we'll be back with our next run of Resident Evil 4 Remake with Dynasty DN. So we will be right back.
Be sure to follow us on our socials by doing !socials in chat.